Welcome to the realm of astrology. This is your daily horoscope for June 11th, 2021, which is a Friday. But before we begin, I want to let you know that I do daily video horoscopes, weekly video horoscopes, monthly video horoscopes, and monthly sun rising sign video horoscopes. You can watch them all on my YouTube channel or on my website called www.realmofastrology.com. And also, please hit the subscribe button. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is something that happens on June 10th. Yes, we had an eclipse yesterday, and the whole reading was about the eclipse. So I did not talk about this in yesterday's video, which was about the eclipse. So I'll talk about it today. And it is the Sun-Mercury retrograde conjunction. They are meeting up, and they meet up on June 10th at about 6 p.m. Pacific time. And this, very simply put, is a point where we receive some sort of insight, some sort of information, or some message connected to the past. And since this happened with the eclipse, and eclipses do bring messages and insights and realizations and information as well, this could very well be connected to that energy. So it's not very separate from the eclipse. However, it is a separate event in itself, if that makes sense. So I thought I'd touch upon it very quickly, very briefly, and then moving on to June 11th. I'm going to move the chart up and I'm going to move it to 1 a.m. Yeah. And at 1 a.m., the moon is going to change signs today, okay? From Gemini, it's going to enter the sign of Cancer. And yesterday's energy was very intense. And now the moon changing signs and entering the sign of Cancer will be a positive thing because the moon loves Cancer. It rules the sign of Cancer. And when the moon is in Cancer, we can focus on what our emotions want, right? Because the moon is our emotions. So we can focus on taking care of ourselves. We can focus on going within. We can focus on nurturing ourselves, being with our loved ones, being with home and family and our roots and all those sort of things. So the moon likes to be in Cancer because when do our emotions feel the happiest? When we are with people we love, when we are in a homely environment, when we feel at home, when we are comfortable. So that's what the next 2.5 days is about. And the moon in Cancer will conjunct Venus. So let me show that to you. The moon is here, it will conjunct Venus, okay? But that happens at about midnight tonight, more into tomorrow. But that's going to happen, and that is a feel-good energy. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, but I thought I'd give you a heads up. The next thing that happens is that Jupiter and the moon will trine. The moon's going to move on to 2 degrees, and this happens at about 5 a.m. Let me show it to you. Yeah. So that's about 5 a.m. Pacific time. The moon and Jupiter are going to trine, and this is definitely a feel-good energy. Definitely. So a lot of feeling good energy as soon as we move on to June 11th after the eclipse. And I think after the eclipse, we will take care of ourselves more and more. We will find our comfort more and more. Yeah. And then the next important thing that happens today is that Mars is going to change signs. And that happens at 7 a.m. Okay, Mars is coming to Leo. Now let's talk about Mars for a moment. What is Mars? Mars is how we take action. It's our drive, it's our willpower, it's courage, it's the masculine, it's the go-getting energy, right? That's what Mars is. And when Mars is in Cancer, a moon-ruled sign of feminine energy, does not work very well. Right? It does not work very well. It's great for holding back, taking a step back from your actions and processing and reassessing and being receptive to things, but it's not that great for let's go, let's do this now, which is what Mars likes. Let's face it, that's what Mars likes. If it decides to do something, it wants it done now. It rules Aries. That's Aries energy. Impulsive, go-getting. So Mars in Cancer for the past 40 days has limited us in some ways. Yes, it's been positive in some ways. It's helped us gather what we are comfortable with. It's helped us understand what makes us comfortable, how We want to take action. What's in our comfort zone? That's what it has done. But taking that action has been a little difficult. But in Leo now, for the next 40 days, Mars will be in a good place. It's a fire sign. Leo is a fire sign. Mars rules Aries, which is also a fire sign. So for the next 40 days, we will be able to take that action very well. We'll feel comfortable taking action. However, I do want to mention Mars will oppose Saturn. Not right now, there's time for that, but Mars will oppose Saturn. When it hits 13 degrees or so, it will oppose Saturn retrograde. And this can feel very intense. But it can also be a defining point in something connected to what we are taking action towards, how we are taking action. It can be some decision regarding that. It could be a decision to take some action. So Mars-Saturn opposition is going to happen in the next 40 days, and it's not always negative. Saturn is not negative. It's difficult, yes, not negative. And an opposition also is difficult, yes, but not negative. And actually, the most growth comes from the difficult aspects. Squares and oppositions lead to the most change and the most progress. Trines and sextiles are easy, but they don't yield that powerful change. So when Saturn and Mars are going to oppose in a few days' time, we will see some decision about taking action. We will see some definition to how we take that action. So that I think will not be negative. So we are building into that, and the next 40 days we have the power, we have the drive to make things happen. More than we've had in the past 40 days. In the past 40 days, it's been more reactive, you can say. Instead of taking action, direct action, proactively, we've been, okay, this has come up, let me react to it. Okay, this is happening, okay, how do I respond to this? We've been receptive, and we've reacted. We haven't said, this is what I want, this is what I'm getting after. That's going to happen now. And perhaps this is a great time for Mars to come into Leo, because the new moon solar eclipse yesterday was a powerful beginning, right? And what do beginnings need? Action. So I think it's no coincidence that Mars has changed signs right after the eclipse, right after the new beginning. It's given us the courage, the power, the drive to move forward, Mars coming into Leo. So that's something that I wanted to share with you. And the other thing I want to share with you is that a few things we are building into. The first is the Uranus-Venus sextile, 60 degrees angle. You can't see right now. You can see now that Uranus is at 12 and Venus is at 11. Venus is going to move on to 12 really quick, and Uranus and Venus are going to sextile. Now this is a sudden, unexpected change to all Venus-related things, which are what? Love, relationships, money, projects, self-worth, values, finances. Venus rules so many things in our lives that any one of these things can be affected with the Uranus sextile. And I believe positively and unexpectedly, and in a way that's going to get you closer to where you're meant to be. Yeah. And let's not forget that as Venus is going to sextile Uranus, it is going to square Chiron. Square is a difficult aspect, but it brings about the most change, brings about the most growth. And this alignment with Venus sextiling Uranus and squaring Chiron will be unexpected, will be sudden, but it will be healing. Bittersweet healing, but healing. I don't think it's bittersweet though, although they are in a square. I don't think it's going to be bittersweet. And in the backdrop of all this, what is happening? Uranus and Saturn are building their square, which happens on June 14th. So as they build their square, it's going to sextile Venus. Venus is going to square Chiron. A lot happening, a lot. And as you know, Uranus and Saturn square is about embracing change, embracing the new. It's about embracing your authentic self, embracing your unique self, who you truly are, who you're meant to be. And there's definitely some healing in that because Chiron is sextiling Saturn as well. So all of this we are building into. And you know, the build up is everything. And what are we building into? We are building up into the Saturn Uranus square, which, like I said, is about getting rid of old structures, old things, old thought patterns, old anything. Because Saturn is the traditional, Saturn rules tradition. And Uranus is the new age guy, is the rebel. It wants you to be your unique self. So this tug of war is taking place, and if you want to know where it's taking place personally for you, look at where Saturn is and look at where Uranus is, which houses, and you'll be able to tell where this tug of war between the old and the new is being highlighted for you. But coming back to this square will feel a little challenging. Because, see, when we are pushed out of our comfort zone, it's challenging. But only when we are pushed out of our comfort zone do great things happen. And this square is about pushing us outside our comfort zone. Pushing us outside our comfort zone so that we can find our authentic self, so that we can be comfortable in our authentic self, so that we can be comfortable with the new changes that have been taking place. And all this is connected to identity, Chiron and Aries, which will find some sort of healing. And our identity ties into all Venus-related things. Love, money, relationships, projects, finances, self-worth, value, skills. After all, our identity is intimately tied with how we make money, what we do, how we feel about ourselves, our values, our skills, our self-worth. So a lot going on, a lot of little things, a lot of changes still in the background. New beginning has started, but these are the changes still brewing. And Mars in Leo will give us the courage to make these changes, to rise up to the squares, because squares demand action, squares demand change. And the next thing that's happening is that the sun is building up its exact square to Neptune. Yes, this whole energy is in a square to Neptune, but the Sun-Neptune square will come exact in 3 days' time, 2 to 3 days' time. So Neptune, Sun will square, 90-degree angle. And this energy can again be either very depressing, very confusing, where you might not be able to see things clearly, or it may be the most magical thing you've ever experienced. A moment where you say, yeah, this is my spiritual alignment. I have found my calling. My soul, the sun, my identity, the sun, is in alignment with Neptune, my spirituality. Or my soul, the sun, my identity, the sun, is in conflict with the lower energies of Neptune, which is drugs, depression, addictions, delusions. Because of these negative things, drugs, depression, addictions, delusions, I'm not able to see my soul clearly. I'm not able to see my identity clearly. Either way. Depends how it works out for you. And that I cannot say. I'm just checking if there's everything I've touched upon and if there's anything more for today. No, I think that pretty much covers the energy for today. But do know we are still building up to the Saturn-Uranus square, which is very, very intense. I've told you the energy. We are building up to the Neptune-Sun square, which is also very intense. We are also building up to Venus sextiling Uranus, squaring Chiron. So that's also going to take place. And Mars has changed signs, which is a shift in energy, shift in how we take action, how we, in our drive, in how our drive works, in how our self-discipline works, in how our willpower works. And I believe that's a good thing, Mars changing signs. It'll bring back that fire. Yeah. Because a lot of the energy right now is in air and water. Air, water. Water, air, earth. The only thing in fire right now is Chiron. And now Mars has joined the fire energy, which is a good thing. Yes, the South Node is in Sagittarius, but that really doesn't count much. Speaking of which, when Mars comes to about 10-12 degrees, we will have a fire trine. So that's also going to happen, but there's time for all that. And we'll talk about it as it happens. But that's all for today. And in the background, I usually give the Saturn-Uranus square energy. So I'm going to skip on that because I told you in the reading. However, I am going to touch upon the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, which happened in Jan of 2020. And these planets meet once in 33 to 38 years. And when they met up in Jan of 2020, they met up in Capricorn. These planets have not met up in Capricorn since the 1500s. And when they meet up in Capricorn, what happens? Our material reality changes completely. Why? Why? Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Capricorn is our material reality because Saturn is the ruler of this material reality. So that happened Jan of 2020. So we've gone through a massive change, a massive new beginning, a massive new cycle that will stay with us till 2053, till these two planets conjunct again in Pisces. And the next thing that I'm going to talk about is the Saturn-Jupiter. Saturn is here, Jupiter is here. This is known as the Great Conjunction. And these planets meet up once in 20 years. And when they meet up, they begin a new cycle. So we started a new 20-year cycle, a cycle that will stay with us till around 2040. And the special thing about this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction is that it happened in Aquarius, an air sign. And this is special, this is different, this is important because for the past 200 years, which means the past 10 times Saturn and Jupiter have conjuncted, they've done so in Earth signs. Earth. Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. And when Saturn and Jupiter conjunct in Earth signs, the focus for those next 20 years becomes things connected to earth elements. Finding our material security, finding stability, agriculture, how do we grow food, how do we keep ourselves secure. Material security is the focus. And for the past 200 years, that's what we've been doing. But now after 200 years, they've conjuncted in an air sign, Aquarius. And for the next 20 years at least, the focus will be what? Intellectual pursuits, scientific development, technology, the internet, finding equality, finding peace, finding humanity, all Aquarian related things. Even astrology is an Aquarian related field. All this stuff. I know I'm digressing a little bit from the daily horoscope, but I just wanted to share that. And the last thing I'll talk about before I pick a card for the day is the other nodes. The North Node is in Gemini and the South Node is in Sagittarius. Now, the nodes are karmic. And what do I mean karmic? Karmic are things that, you reap what you sow. That's karma. And astrology works in cycles. So the last time these nodes were in this placement was between 2001 and 2003. And that cycle has come back. So whatever karmic things that need to come back from that time into your life have already come back, starting from May of 2020. And these could be situations, these could be projects, these could be people even, or these could be certain themes in your life that are repeating. And that's happening for you to either take them forward, to build on them, to close them out and say, I'm closing this karmic chapter in my life. Or to reassess or review and let go of them emotionally, whatever it is. So that's also happening. And that's all the background I'm going to give. And now I will pick a card for the day. So let me get to that. It says TikTok. And this says the fates. And we'll begin with the fates because yesterday was an eclipse. It's a karmic time. It's a fated time. This card says it all. It's all written in the stars. Whatever is happening is destined. It's karmic. It's fated. And a day after this eclipse, this makes complete sense. That's all I'm going to say about this card. And TikTok. TikTok. What does this mean usually when someone says TikTok? It means time is running out. Or it could also mean that the time has come. Either way, You know, when an alarm sort of rings, it's like a bell, but it's not TikTok, it's a bell. But this could be interpreted as the time has come or time is running out. And in this case, I feel it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. Time has come. A new cycle has come. A new beginning has arrived. But if there was something that you needed to close out from the past, if you didn't take that step, if you didn't take that action, that's done with. Now we are in a new cycle. It also means times are changing. But the way this is, you can see it on the screen. It's there are two hands, and there's a balloon sort of thing attached to a watch, trying to take the watch away, right? And I feel this is the time going away. And what do I mean when I say time going away? I mean a certain period of time is going away. And I think this is the past. This is the old cycle. Because the new cycle is here. It's going away. It's flying away. It's flying into the other realms. And I think that's more the meaning of this card because it could mean multiple things. So, in some ways, it does mean that, yes, the old cycle is flying away. That time period is going. It's going. And the new is here. New is here. That's what this card means. And that's all I leave you with. So have a great day and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.